The Silver Samaritan!
Hello again, my aspiring heroes. I'm the Silver Samaritan, and this is Superhero Survival Skills. Hopefully, the preceding episodes about professional relationships have been helpful, because the entire local superhero network is mad at me now. Anyway, that's done. Moving on. Today, I want to talk about first aid, but before I do, I feel it may be necessary to take a short historical tangent. For viewers not born before this century, you may have heard the word MacGyver at some point and wondered what that is or where it comes from. Back in the dark ages of tightly scheduled television, there was a show about a guy named MacGyver who could make tech out of the junk in the glove box of his Jeep. Not a superhero as such, but he frequently found himself helping people in need, and his talent for repurposing ordinary odds and ends bordered on the preternatural. Also, he had what was considered at the time to be very stylish hair. In the popular vernacular of my country, his name became a verb, meaning roughly to use everyday items in unexpected combinations for totally unintended purposes, typically in an emergency. The term was briefly replaced with life hack, but it was eventually decided that that's less fun and kind of, Facebook-y. I don't know if there's been a further update on the lingo, mostly because I'm old now and busy with other things. Okay, got it? Great, because, as some of you have no doubt already learned, sometimes you'll be faced with an emergency for which you seem to be materially unprepared. Having a few key, versatile items on hand can mean the difference between trying to help and actually helping. Medical emergencies are especially problematic. Barring super strength or other related enhancements, there's only so much gear you can carry as a superhero while maintaining your speed and agility stats. Without a mutation or biotechnological enhancement that affects healing in yourself or others, you should be carrying a basic first aid kit on your utility belt or in your backpack if you can. There are limits to what you'll be able to do with that, but here's a list of basic items I recommend and ways to use these items to the greatest advantage. 1. Fast-drying glue is good for quickly sealing small cuts. It will become a problem if you try to use it for larger gashes or contusions. More about that in a bit. 2. If you find a bystander affected by pepper spray or some other airborne chemical irritant, you'll want to rinse out their eyes. Traditional wisdom says to use milk for this, but that's controversial. Not because it might do more harm than good, but because it's nearly impossible to run an effective patrol while keeping milk fresh. Also, some people are vegans, and an emergency would be a weird time to have that conversation. Sources disagree on whether clean water is helpful, but a small bottle of saline solution will imitate tears. If you can instruct your bystander to blink rapidly after use, this will stimulate their tear ducts, and ideally, their eyes will begin to rinse themselves. 3. These days, no first aid kit is complete without a first responder's naloxone kit. I think that's how it's pronounced. Usually this includes a rapid injection device and a vapor dispenser. This is to give you options depending on the situation, not to use both at the same time. Pick whichever delivery method seems best in the moment and go with it. 4. In case you don't know what gauze is, it's a sterile, loosely woven fabric frequently used in tandem with firm pressure for decorating windows, preserving the dead bodies of ancient cats, and dressing larger gashes and contusions. Ideally, you won't have to do any of those things, but it's better to bless your belt or backpack with this barely burdensome balm against bountiful bleeding. 5. Before bandaging a bloodied bystander, you'd better bring to bear a bandbox on the bleeding business. In other words, pack a disinfectant. It doesn't have to be alcohol, and in fact it's better to have something less prone to spilling and catching fire. Polysporin is a favorite for most heroes I know, but of course you can also go with a generic, like I do. It's cheap and typically just as good. 6. A working knowledge of biochemistry will come in handy if you find yourself standing between some iteration of the mad scientist trope and their nefarious plot to alter the DNA of a given population. But as the odds of this happening are actually quite low, you can just go ahead and give this one a pass. Besides, you probably have a phone and can access the sum total of human knowledge in any emergency. Just don't forget to use your VPN while surfing for the information you'll use to extrajudicially save humanity, as your metadata might otherwise be used against you by law enforcement or your favorite streaming service. 7. Sometimes you'll just have to MacGyver some shit and hope it works. That's why I recommend carrying a roll of duct tape. It is the everything fixer. I don't think there's a way to use it as a field treatment for tear gas exposure, overdosing on a synthetic opioid, or reversing the effects of a DNA-altering biochemical agent, but I also don't want to project my limitations onto you. If you know a way to do that, hey, throw it in the comments. The possibilities are limited only by your knowledge base, your imagination, and the ever-fluctuating resources at hand. If you have any questions or think I've missed something of vital importance, please do the right thing for heroes everywhere and include that information in a kindly worded comment below. I've also included links to the St. John Ambulance Foundation, who have a number of first aid training courses, which are not free. I've also posted a link to firstaidforfree.com in case you're on a bit of a tighter budget. And speaking of budgets, if you want to join my generous patrons in their support for superhero education and help keep it free for everyone, you can make a monthly donation to my Patreon or a one-time contribution to my Ko-fi. Coffee, I've heard it both ways. And if you aren't in a position to do that, or just don't want to, you can still help out by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your friends and colleagues. Of course, you are also free to just take this information and run with it. And if it helps you defend humanity, honestly, I'm cool with that. Or don't. That's also totally an option. Next month will mark the end for this volume of superhero survival skills, but fear not, for there is so much more to explore in the world of being a masked hero than mere survival. And over time, we will hopefully explore it all together. So until next month, this is the Silver Samaritan saying thank you for watching, good luck out there, and stay safe!